When will U.S. election results 2024 be announced? The United States will vote on November 5, on Election Day, to elect its next president. Will it be Democrat Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump? More than 77 million people have already participated in early voting to choose their next premier. The final votes will be cast on Tuesday, November 5, before the polls close. But one of the major questions that persists is about the timing of the U.S. presidential election results. The election day in the U.S. is now often called an election week, taking into account the fact that each state follows its own rules and practices for counting ballots. Some may even face legal challenges that could delay the results. When will U.S. election results 2024 be declared? In general, the counting of votes begins as soon as the voting ends in a U.S. state. The winner of the popular vote is declared when the counting ends. There may be times when the projected winner is being declared in one state while the voting continues in another. Many expect to know who the next U.S. president is by late election night, or at least early morning the next day. Most states have a predictable voting pattern, and it is in these states that the results are announced first, after the voting. But swing states may take time to call the races. This may delay the final and overall U.S. presidential results. However, the winner declared after the election day counting is actually a projected winner. The official president-elect is not declared until electoral votes are taken into account. When will the voting end for U.S. elections? The first polls across the U.S. will close at 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening. The last polls will close at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, on Wednesday. A look at tentative timeline for different swing states. 7 p.m. Wednesday, polls are likely to close in Georgia and 5 other states, and partially in 2 more states, according to the report. This is the time when U.S. TV networks may begin declaring winner in less competitive states like Kentucky. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, polls are likely to close across 3 states, including North Carolina. 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, polls may close in what is being called the most important state in this U.S. election, Pennsylvania. It may also end in 15 other states, and the District of Columbia, as well as partially in Michigan, and 4 other states. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday, all remaining polls may close in Michigan. Voting will also end in Arizona, Wisconsin and 12 other states. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, on Wednesday, polls close across Nevada, and 2 other states, and partially in 2 others. If the count goes on beyond Wednesday morning, it will be because the vote in the swing states is too close to call the race. U.S. election, when will we know who the winner is? Nobody knows how long it will take for the final winner to be announced this time. A winner could be declared on election night, the next morning, possibly in days or weeks. Here's why. The race between Vice President Kamala Harris and former U.S. President Donald Trump remains too close in 7 swing states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. So, the very narrow margins of victory in some of these battleground states may require votes to be recounted. Ultimately, these swing states are expected to decide the winner of the U.S. presidential elections. What happened in past U.S. elections? In the 2020 U.S. presidential election, the voting had taken place on November 3. However, U.S. TV networks did not declare Joe Biden the winner until late morning, on November 7. Even then, the Associated Press said it called North Carolina for Trump 10 days after Election Day, and Georgia for Biden 16 days after hand recounts. 4 years earlier, the 2016 election, when Trump won for the first time, was decided just hours after most polls closed. The Associated Press had declared Trump the winner later on election night. Meanwhile, BBC reported that Trump was declared the winner shortly before 3 a.m. Eastern Time and 8 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the day after the election. In 2012, Barack Obama's victory was projected before midnight on polling day itself. What happens after a U.S. election winner is declared? When a U.S. presidential election winner is declared, on the election night itself, or in the following days, it's not the end. They are not the officially elected president, until the electoral votes are formally cast and counted. The Electoral College consists of 538 electors. A candidate needs a minimum of 270 Electoral College votes to become president-elect. This is called the electoral vote. And the voting on Election Day, when citizens cast their vote, is called a popular vote. There have been times when a presidential candidate lost the popular vote, or Election Day counting, but still became the president, because they won the electoral votes. This happened in 2016, 2000, and 3 times in the 80s. Crucial role of electors in U.S. elections. Each candidate running for president in a U.S. state has their own group of electors, known as a slate. Each state gets as many electors as it has members of Congress, House and Senate. When a citizen casts vote on an election day, they are actually voting for their candidate's preferred electors. This is called the popular vote. The actual Electoral College vote takes place in mid-December, when the electors meet in their states. The votes of the electors are counted and certified by Congress on January 6. The new president will take office after being inaugurated on January 20.